God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 76 of Your Journey Is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, and to Your Journey Is Not Over. Neither are to be used, copied, or edited in any way without my consent. Jumping back into January 13th, 2020. I was at a loss, so much to take in, and yes, it was overwhelming. I was grieving, I was in shock, I was in disbelief, and yes, I was angry that nothing could be done. I tried contacting my brother, asking if he knew she had died. Always, our whole life, we always handled everything pertaining to our mom together. If they got into an argument, I was always his first phone call, explaining to me the actual events that had occurred, before she could drag me in with her twisted version, always lies of what took place. She was even known to hit herself and then convince others in our family that my brother had hit her. Twisted, I know, but that's how she operated. So it was customary again, our whole lives, was to call each other and keep each other in the loop. So I couldn't imagine that he knew she died and didn't contact me. Truly, I couldn't. Even though I'd been out of the loop and away from them both for about 3.5 to 4 years at this point. The nicest way I can put this, and it is something I still struggle with daily, is that the one person who put so many demands on me, so much expectations and pressure on me, and whom always reminded me to never become like our mother, had fallen into those exact same cycles of dysfunction and addictions, and had just repeated everything, another generation. So through the years, my brother became someone I didn't recognize, I couldn't connect with. I tried to help him, truly I did. I had him stay with me for a couple weeks, and I cooked all of his favorite foods, and I actually got some weight back on him. I tried to save him like he had always saved me, but I also realized I couldn't save him because he wasn't interested in even trying to save himself. That 2-week stay ended up in a big blow up. He was ready to get back to what he was doing before. So I kissed him goodbye. No matter the fight, we never left each other without a kiss on the cheek and I love you to each other. And that would be the very last time that I would ever see my brother. Tough love is what I was exercising with him, praying he would be able to get it together, be the person I knew him to be, the person I remembered and admired and loved so much. So we had become estranged, and I had heard through the grapevine, small town vibes, that he had only gotten worse. I know it was our childhood trauma that led him down those dark paths, took him to a place of no escape, ate him up inside, just completely engulfed the person that he once was. Those were demons that he didn't want to face and deal with and heal from. He let those thoughts, of course, from the devil play tricks on his mind. The devil played on his weaknesses and his vulnerabilities, like he does all suicide victims. And it ultimately cost my brother his life. Yes, we had been estranged, but never in a million years did I ever think my brother, in his right mind or not, would let our mother die without notifying me. So I tried calling him. Remember, his voicemail box isn't set up, and I couldn't have notified him in a voicemail anyway. And I tried texting him, again, not going to notify him in a text. Neither were appropriate. So with no response, I called his local police department. He lived in another state than I, so I explained to them, and they sent an officer out to notify my brother. I got a text from him shortly after asking me what's going on. I did ask him, "Do you know?" He never answered. To this day, I don't, and I will never know if he knew and participated in this elaborate cover up and trying to keep it from me. I do know he wasn't contacted by the mortuary. I mean, come on now. I left your brother a voicemail. That general manager wasn't too good on his feet. And when I called bullshit about my brother's voicemail never being set up, he didn't know what to say. What could he say, right? So, no, my brother wasn't notified by the mortuary. I already knew at this point that he wasn't the person or the persons who signed to have my mother cremated. So, again, I may never know. Did he even know she died? After that, I called a couple of my friends who are local attorneys. And of course, we are from a small town. And the mortuary responsible for illegally cremating my mother does tend to get a lot of business of all the higher ups in our town. You know, former mayors, former chiefs, retired police officers, retired firemen, all have been known to have their funeral services at this mortuary. Must be politically tied in, you think? So both of my friends told me pretty much they didn't feel good about rocking the boat here in our town. Good old boy system doesn't like to be challenged, questioned, and they never forget who pushes back. I know that all too well, but still, I will keep pushing until there are changes and fighting for something that all Americans were born with. It's called the right to justice. So then I respected my friends. I don't, nor have I ever asked my friends of power to break the law, go against what they stand for, nor put themselves in a position that they're not comfortable with. I respect and I love my friends, and I respect their positions and what it took to get where they are. Rarely do I reach out and call upon my friends of power. And when I do, again, rare, but it's to vent, to help me to understand something or to share with me their perspectives and for advice. Again, never to ask or put them in compromising positions. If only my aunt and uncle had respected their lifelong buddy enough, none of this would have never taken place, and well, nor would I be sharing it on my journey. Wouldn't have it to share. It wouldn't have all the shock and trauma that would send me into a world I knew nothing about. A world that millions suffer from every single day. It's a world of panic attacks, of anxiety, of depression. It's a world that I lived for a year and a half. And yes, the massive trauma I had experienced and endured and managed to overcome and survive throughout my life, and compartmentalize, I might add. I now realize that emotionally, my filing cabinet, so to speak, was overloaded. It was crammed full, and it couldn't take any more. Well, the nature of my mother's death, how those kept it from me, the cremation, no justice, not having my brother in his normal state of mind to help me, to guide me through this. And there's even more to come, as if all that wasn't enough to bust my filing cabinet of trauma wide open. And my mind, my body, and my soul retreated. As I have learned, it could be something small, even, or in my case, something huge that will trigger us, our subconscious, our traumas, and overwhelm us so much that we shut down. And that leads to anxiety, to panic attacks, and depression like no other. In the midst of it, I had no clue what was going on. I don't think anyone does, or is aware of it. Like I said before, one day I woke up and I was normal, who I've always been. And the next day I woke up and everything had changed. Overnight, I developed a fear of leaving my house. Safety is everything when you're in the midst of the anxiety, the panic attacks, and the depression. Fear of the unknown was huge for me. What I now understand, yes, I was traumatized about my mother's death. Let's just say the way things were done. What I was so sure of my whole life was robbed from me. The chance to get answers and to make peace with my mom, for her and for myself. I was then mentally thrown into a world of unknown. And in that world, instead of dealing with it, healing, I locked down and just become fearful of everything. All of my childhood and adulthood trauma caught up to me in the worst way possible. In the future episodes, I will be discussing anxiety, panic attacks, and depression, my own experience anyway, and how it cost me a year and a half of my life, and also how, by the grace of God and the help of my husband and my amazing boss, I overcame it and I got back into my life. I took back my power and I stopped letting the devil play tricks with my mind and keeping me stuck. I wanted my life back. And yes, it was baby steps, but by the grace of God, I got there. And so can anyone suffering with anxiety, with panic attacks, and with depression. If I can do it, overcome it, take back my life, anyone can. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday. Listen in, and always remember your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've